All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Peak Prep Unpacked, holiday TikToks for TikTok Shop Success. Before we get things started, I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to hop on, see if there's an engagement in the chat. Okay. Hi, welcome. Good to see everyone's so excited to be here. My name's Meg. I'm a senior partner manager here at ShipBob. I'm joined today by Unsociable, Grow, Trendsetters, and Avenue Z. Give everyone a couple more minutes and then I'm going to let the speakers introduce themselves. So let's see. We have some more folks joining. And shout out where you're calling in from in the chat. We've got quite a wide array of cool. Yeah, Toronto, Ontario. Awesome. Ben is coming in from Scotland. We got, okay, Kansas City, Missouri. Yep. Jake's in KCMO. LA. It wouldn't be a TikTok webinar if there wasn't someone from LA joining. Toronto. Oh, strong Canadian representation. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so we can get started. I will let the speakers introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their company. Ben from Unsociable, I'm going to have you go first.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me on one of these again, Meg. It was a blast last time, so I appreciate the time, and it's an honor to be on with so many amazing people involved with TikTok. So yeah, thanks. Just as a kind of brief backstory to like my crazy journey into the world of TikTok, I used to run a content marketing business before we were Unsociable, and when TikTok became a thing and everyone was using it, all of my team were like, Ben, you need to try this thing. Like, it's amazing. It'll totally blow your mind. So eventually I succumbed to peer pressure and I downloaded the app. And within 5 minutes, knew I loved Mexican food. I knew which soccer team I supported. I knew I loved pro wrestling. And I was just totally mind blown by this app. So I was like, okay, I need to do something with this. So we started making content for ourselves, Unsociable, as a business, because we thought, well, we need to prove it out for ourselves before we can make it to brands. So that's what we did. That blew up. I ended up as a character on the page called Grumpy Scottish Boss, and I became a bit of a thing on TikTok. And from there, just went on a kind of windy journey towards TikTok Shop. Ended up becoming one of the top rated partners in the UK, and then we launched in the US earlier this year. So that's it in a nutshell. Crazy journey, but a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, we're so happy to have you here. David from Avenue Z, I'll let you go next.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Again, also a pleasure to be here. This is my first one of these, but it's quite exciting because I love the topic so much. I'm Dave Corchado from Avenue Z. I'm a co-founder, and actually I lead our analytics practice as well. So I have a long history as a CTO, building code, writing code for ad tech systems. And so now at Avenue Z, what we do is we really focus on two things. One is revenue, and the other is reputation. So ultimately, we're doing one of those two things for every customer that we have. On the reputation side, we think about how we're going to get people in the Wall Street Journal. And from a revenue side, we think about how we're going to grow e-commerce sales across all social channels, particularly social commerce and TikTok. So happy to talk about all the different topics, all the different things we do. But I'm happy also to be digging into TikTok, which is absolutely the sort of most, I'd say, exciting opportunity in social commerce we've had in a long time.
Thanks, David. Yeah, so happy to have you here. And then Jake from Trendsetters.
How's it going, everyone? Thanks so much for having me. I'm just the idiot in charge here at Trendsetters. Lucked my way into founding this business. We've been referred to by other folks as the TikTok grandparents, which I still don't know if I like that or not, but it probably accurately illustrates our relationship with the platform. Amanda, one of our partners in the business, she was big time on Musical.ly. I happened to just luck my way again, going to high school with her, brought her into the business. She's built out our influencer team from zero. I, at the time, was early in the days of social media, selling Snapchat and then Musical.ly. And then as that evolved into TikTok, we've been a TikTok agency since as soon as it was kind of a thing. So we've got a large, sizable Gen Z team Vibes are always good. Based here in Kansas City, got some folks all across the country and overseas. And yeah, excited to dig into it today.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. And then finally, Ryan from Grow to round things out.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Excited to be here. I am the director of TikTok Shop and affiliate at Grow. Grow is a full-scale digital agency, creative, anything you can imagine we can service. Roots come from SEO for the agency itself, and then we've been expanding a lot over the last few years as interest deems it relevant, and TikTok is definitely the interest that we're seeing in all the brands that we're talking with. So my background is more on the affiliate side traditionally. That's what I was brought in to build and scale here as a channel. And the way that we approach TikTok is it is eating into that affiliate ecosystem, because it's so much easier to run a TikTok page than it is to run a blog like people used to. So the way that we approach referral and partnership marketing very much leans into TikTok. And we've spent a lot of time and energy figuring this one out, and excited to share our learnings.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. We get a ton of questions from our brands about affiliate and affiliate management, so really looking forward to kind of diving into that topic specifically. Let's get started with our first question. High level, what are the anticipated trends brands should be aware of for the upcoming TikTok holiday promotions? And how can brands leverage these trends to boost their shop's visibility? And then if we want to just go based on the order of introductions too. So Ben, if you want to kick things off.
Sure, that's no problem. I think all of my peers here will probably agree that one of the biggest trends that the platform is pushing at the moment is towards live shopping. That's because it's been such a huge thing on Douyin, which is the Chinese equivalent of TikTok. That's a few years ahead of the UK and the US version, TikTok Shop. So live shopping isn't coming, it's here. We've seen the record for most GMV generated on a live continue to be smashed, and it's going to be a huge thing and probably the biggest trend to keep your eye on and invest in on the platform coming up.
Sure. So I'll go next. I think, look, there's a lot of cool things that TikTok's rolling out so often. It's hard to keep up sometimes, but for me, I think one of the most important changes is the fact that right now paid is everything. It's mandatory. And ultimately, it was not that long ago that organic content was so king. It was, creating FOMO amongst brands. You had to really do a good job of organic. Then before you can even start thinking about other things, you had to get that engagement, then viral, affiliate, etc. But now you need to pay for amplification, or you need to use something like GMV Max. That's like the new version of Meta's advantage in shopping campaigns, and the same as like Google's PMax. So to be successful, I think really recently you need to invest in paid media.
Yeah, I think trend wise, there's a lot to cover from a lever perspective, like live stream, affiliate. I don't think you need me to tell you any of that. Like, just do the things that other people are doing well on TikTok Shop. Like those are the obvious ones. What I think TikTok Shop gets us maybe a little bit further away from is like actual platform trends. Like, who are the hot rising influencers culturally? What are the things happening like in the world that are then becoming micro audiences inside of TikTok? Obviously, when they're named trendsetters, it's a blessing and a curse. We spend a lot of time thinking about trends. And for us, it's always about reverse engineering consumer trends into marketing trends, irregardless of season. So like Beyonce drops a country album, sweet. We have a hat brand. Immediately, how do we start doing like this country girl new vibe for the summer? That was like a big thing for us. And then influencer popping off, sweet. How do we go collab with them while they're hitting their peak fame to launch like a custom product for them? So we're always thinking about the comment section of your TikTok page or pages and the top influencers in your category, and letting the comment section like tell you where to go trend wise.
Yeah. For us, I think it's going to be more indicative of broader promotional strategy and how brands are approaching their discounting for the season. I think what we're seeing is a lot of brands are expecting to start a lot earlier, not only because Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the whole holiday period has been shifting earlier and earlier each year, but also the testing nature of TikTok Shop, being able to identify creators that can drive awareness, the creators that can drive conversions. I think a lot of our brands are looking at leaning into TikTok specific promotions that might not be widely available on site and using, a nuanced creator strategy to create moments of urgency and not have to wait for everything to happen on that one weekend. So I think just being able to diversify the moments that you have between October and November and use it as more of a prospecting funnel to then drive conversions throughout the entire period.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Next question. TikTok is an amazing tool to both drive discovery and lower acquisition costs, especially as we enter the busy holiday season. What are some of the best practices to make sure you're reaching the right audience on TikTok? This is a question that we get a lot. Is it better to go broad or is it better to go sort of targeted? And what are the best practices around that strategy?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. It's a tough one to answer because it really does depend on the size of the brand and how much budget you've got to play with. I think that building on the point that Jake made in the last instance, like you need to tap into the trends that are happening on the platform at the time and realize like who your audience is that's going to be purchasing those trends, and then just drilling really deep into those. Like I'll give you an example of one that's trending at the minute. Hyaluronic acid. We have a brand that's doing that. It's huge at the moment. There's a very specific type of consumer that's most likely to consume this. So dive really deep into that for if you're a brand like that. But if you're a massive skincare brand with a massive range, then you might look at it and approach it very differently. So I think that you need to think of these factors, think about where you're at in market, what's your product range like, and then you can think about, okay, like are there different audiences that I should be looking at, or am I drilling really deep into one audience?
So I think for us, because I do think about when I think about social commerce and just going back to that comment about the size of the brand, the number of channels that you're on, I do think you need to think about that holistically. You really need to be everywhere. But sticking purely to TikTok, there's a lot that you can do within the tool set. Ultimately, there's targeting tools that you can take advantage of. They're improving every single day. You can do things now like uploading custom audiences. You can upload email custom audiences, like for example, from Klaviyo. I think the integration is even real time now. It's not just about text and CSV files. You can do lookalike audiences. Ultimately, you want to capitalize on their shopping features by using shops, using product links, things like that, dynamic ads, creating seamless and entertaining shopping experiences, reducing friction, things of that sort. And then, of course, understanding any type of seasonal trends, right? Monitoring and engaging holiday-specific trends, music, hashtags, challenges. There's just so much, and you really got to remember about the entertainment aspect of the work that you're doing. And I should say, sort of the entertainment specifically that your community is looking for.
Yeah, I'd love to know in the chat for anyone listening in, does anyone here have more than one TikTok page for their brand? And if it's not active, doesn't count. Or if you're just holding the handle, doesn't count. Like, I'd love to know, because organic social on TikTok was the reason why you got into TikTok years ago. It's why in 2020, we convinced a lot of enterprise corporate brands to jump on there, some Gen Z and so on. And like, that was the reason why, whether you're a creator or a brand, you would get in there. And we've kind of moved away from that. And I think it's important to understand that the For You page algorithm that has now become the case for every social platform, by the way, it does an incredible job at reaching niche specific micro markets. If you want to reach 25-year-old guys in the Midwest interested in fishing like me, you can go do that. It's really easy to do that just through organic. But if you're trying to go mass market, that's where it actually hurts you. Think about for a protein powder brand, if you're trying to go mass market, some of your customers are going to be older, some are going to be guys interested in guy working out, girls working out. Like, so showing a bodybuilder doing heavy deadlifts, girl that's 19 years old in college probably doesn't want to see how this jack dude is deadlifting 650 pounds. But inversely, someone like me that would love to be able to do that, probably never will be, would love to see that. But then when you post a big booty glute workout, here's how to get your hamstrings rocking for this summer, I could care less. I'm going to neglect my legs like most guys do in the gym. So really lean into organic social. Don't be afraid to create 3, 5, 7, 10 different TikTok pages custom to each target audience you want to go after.
Yeah, I think along those lines, there's not one approach that's going to work in any given time, and I think TikTok Shop and these like creator campaigns also need to be thought of in like a campaign mindset. Just specifically related to how we're approaching the holiday period. There's going to be the creators that are going to be great for driving awareness, prospecting, a little bit more niche that are going to get your brand in front of the right people, but might not be the best converting creators. Where there's also going to be people that are a little bit broader, but are great at making those conversion commerce focused, videos and content and hosting live streams that they're going to be able to get people over the line. So thinking of it in the campaign mindset and activating the right creators at the right time, and not focusing so much on just your niche, but how you can activate these different groups to broaden your reach without diluting your message.
I'm going to go off script for one question. Just jumping off Ben's point about hyaluronic acid. Any trends you're seeing consumer side that you're excited about going into the holiday season? Actually, like products that are being launched, new verticals that are coming up. I'm just kind of curious. This is open to discussion.
Something that'll probably get most e-commerce brands pretty excited about is on TikTok Shop, like bundling and boxes really works well. And obviously it solves an issue for most brands in that if your LV is pretty low, you're struggling. So that's a welcome trend for a lot of brands, and there's lots of creative things that you can do to get a product viral by pairing different items from your product set together.
Yeah.
Over here, we're working on trying to do, across multiple brands at a higher level on TikTok Shop, doing holiday bundles with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, exclusive to the TikTok Shop platform. I think doing things exclusive to TikTok Shop is always beneficial, and in holiday season could be even more so, because you could just bundle up the, 3 of the top brands in like the snack candy category, and now you got a perfect holiday gift that everyone go crazy about. And you could do this rinse and repeat for so many things, but that's, I think, the uniqueness of the platform, that like you're never going to see that necessarily on Amazon, and you're not going to see that on that brand's web Shopify site. It's a little too complicated to do. It's like an easy lift in TikTok Shop that I think a lot of brands could do.
Cool. Yeah, fantastic. Ryan or David, anything to add before next question?
I would have jumped in and doubled down on Ben's point as well. Bundling is going to be massive. Just be able to get those cart sizes up and capitalize on the moment when people are kind of looking to spend money versus spending as a reaction to content. And along with Jake as well. Yeah, I think we kind of covered it.
Fantastic. All right. What strategies should brands use to optimize their TikTok Shop? Oh, sorry. I have already gotten that one. Question 4, how should brands be optimizing ad spend for TikTok holiday campaigns? What metrics should they focus on to make sure budget is spent effectively? Sorry about that.
I think I'll let the other guys drive into the data side of things, and I'll just start like top level. It's going to be all about those creators that you work with. It's how you brief them, it's how you work with them, it's how you incentivize them. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing when you're running ads is the creative. And I'm sure most people would agree with me on that front. So the better creative that you can get from affiliates on the platform, it's just going to have a knock-on effect on everything else, and make those key metrics much easier to maintain. So that's what I would prioritize first and foremost if I was a brand.
Yeah, I would, there's an easy way to do this, right? With GMV Max, right? You can prioritize, you can set your ROAS, and you can get all your targets, and that'll manage all your organic and create all your ads and everything. So I think that's sort of the most obvious way about how you can start achieving goals through paid ads. But if you're not thinking about that, and maybe you don't want to pay it, because ultimately you start to pay for everything, right? You start, even like sort of that organic work gets counted within your ad spend. So there's a real impact on your sales and your revenue when that happens. But if you have the talent, if you have the team, if you have the agency, then I would say that you focus on your high intent audiences. To me, that's always something that is important no matter what channel you're on. You focus on that, focus on inverting the marketing funnel, so to speak, using email, using things like paid ads as well as email, and sort of uploading it and sort of constantly inching people forward, making sure you're using performance metrics like ROAS and CPA, cost of acquisition, CTR, the obvious ones, the ones everyone knows. And I think that also testing and iterating, A/B tests, different ad creatives, targeting options, all that stuff. I think that all those things that we've known that's really important. It's still important now, but I do think that there is a really nice option for us in the form of GDMX.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the paid media component, and I'm really beating its death here, but like on the organic side of things, both organic content you're publishing out to ideally multiple TikTok pages, as well as affiliates. For years, as someone who's like worked in the social game, irregardless of what we would do from a brand awareness building perspective, the question was always the same. It was like, what attribution did you actually drive? And anyone that's been in marketing forever knows tracking attribution through organic social is nearly impossible. With TikTok Shop, we're able to now get data. It's really accessible on every single organic video that we tag with a product. What traffic did that drive to shop? How many views? All the things that you would typically only be able to get through running ads, you can get organically on your content and affiliate content. And so if you think about it now, we can in theory know what is going to perform well in an advertising environment before we actually put dollars behind it. Now, of course, you want to test as many ad creatives. We also have to measure that against the test budget that's going to go into that. So for us, everything from a paid media perspective starts in organic, and we look at what does well from a reach, traffic, and conversion perspective in organic, whether on page or with affiliates, and then run that into the advertising lane. And the one caveat I'll add for affiliates where it can be difficult activating those Spark ads, make that a part of the outreach process. So you kind of seed the Spark ad, ideally build an incentive program behind that I can share more about. But the component that I think is most missed is give those affiliates content examples and give them specific promos and messaging that you know works well in an advertising environment. So that way the video that they're creating is the most apt for performance in those Spark ad environments. That's just something we'll see, that there can be like a misnomer or gap. Like just because it does well affiliate wise doesn't mean it'll do well ad wise, because they're reaching their audience. So their lingo, phrasing, terminology is going to work well for that. I would just think about having organic still be the main component of what you then look at putting media spend behind.
Yeah, I'd double down on Jake's point there. I think volume of creative and leaning into the affiliate side is going to be key. Creative fatigue's faster on TikTok than any other platform, so you need to make sure that your ads team has enough to move through, so that you don't start seeing your CPAs climb and you lose efficiency in your spend. But I also think, working with those creators to vary the type of content that you're seeing. I think everyone can pretty much tell what a UGC ad looks like at this point within about a second and a half, and people can just instinctively swipe off of it. But the content that micro creators are creating right now is able to capture attention better and can perform really well when given the appropriate visibility. So being able to efficiently and effectively boost the visibility of those micro creators can vary your message up and make sure that your paid team has enough to get you through the season.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, natural segue to the next question. How can brands effectively collaborate with influencers or creators to enhance holiday campaigns? And what should they look for in a potential partner? This is a really, really common question that we get.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of different methodologies here and so many techniques that you can use. I'll let the guys cover some other stuff, but I think that we've touched upon like a clear brief for the affiliate, which is one of the most important things that you can do. And actually, they probably value that way more than you would think, because of a lot of the time, probably most brands on the platform are sending out samples to affiliates and not briefing them. And those guys, they just don't know what to post. So if you can guide them in a really clear, constructive way where they know that like this message works, this is what I can talk about, this is what sells, then they'll really value that. They'll value the partnership more, and then you've got yourself a much better creative for the most part. So I think that there's loads of different techniques you can do to get more affiliates on board. There's tech, there's events, there's like an endless list of things. But I think that that's like the key fundamental is how you brief those affiliates that are starting to work with you.
That's a great point. And like beyond the brief, there's an aspect to obviously the affiliates, the authenticity, and how they resonate with your audience. You need to think about obviously which of those affiliates are going to be followed naturally by your customers, and you should seek them out. There has to be that affinity. You don't want to create a relationship or have a post or content from an affiliate, obviously, where there might be some friction for any number of reasons. And unfortunately, there's a lot of vetting that should be done before you bring on an affiliate to create any content on your behalf. And that's why it's so important to work with an agency. The other thing is have a long-term relationship with those affiliates. And if you don't have it, then have an agency that has a long-term relationship, because it's going to be much more reliable. Because we've all heard nightmare stories about affiliates that don't post anything. And I think we've seen an average, if you don't know an affiliate and you send them something, a sample, it's about 75% of them or so are going to post something. So, it's still 25% loss unless you have a long-term relationship, and then those numbers are far better. I think the other big thing about working with an agency, or specifically a certified partner, is that you have access as a certified partner, and we are a certified partner, we have access to senior resources at TikTok. And so we're able to escalate issues. We're able to actually get a dialogue with people over LARC, in real time. Hey, my client was, pulled for this reason. Their SKUs were pulled for this reason. There's products on TikTok, a lot of them, that are in prohibited categories that you need to be invited to. Not a lot of creators and sellers know that. There are certain products that seem fairly benign, but you need to be invited before you can get those SKUs approved. And so agencies, certified partners are able to be a sounding board for you directly to ByteDance. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages to working with one.
Yeah, just really quickly, I want to double down on that point for those listening. For brands, it's really, really kind of a new back channel gets open to you. If you work with an agency, it's really, really important that you have that partner who becomes sort of your additional layer of support when it comes to navigating TikTok's requirements or getting in touch with TikTok if you need it. So many of our ship brands have, tried to get into TikTok without the help of an agency, and now have since engaged an agency and have seen night and day difference in terms of TikTok usability, predictability, understanding the platform, and making sure that their account is always in good standing. So something to think about.
Yeah, it's kind of just, Meg, to your point, it's like an unfortunate reality of the platform. I can assure you all here, we would rather you just be able to get the support you need. Like, I know we're incentivized to tell you need agency, but like, trust me, you kind of need some insider baseball. When it comes to the affiliate side, one of the things we've intentionally done as we built our influencer team, all the girls on our influencer team are all former influencers. They were former full-time influencers. That's what they did. We convinced them to come over to the business side. And the reason for that, it's all about understanding it from that perspective. Now, in terms of tactically what that looks like, a lot of that comes down to communication and messaging, and just even like tonality and phrasing. Far too often, you have older corporate guy sending a message to 19-year-old girl, which in any other context, we'd be like, this is kind of weird. Like, they're just DMing them on TikTok. This is kind of odd. And so the lingo and like the messaging, it doesn't resonate with these people. And so a lot of it comes down to messaging communication. I think though, in terms of how you can activate, it's thinking beyond just the affiliate program, which is great. Certainly retention. One of the things we've found a lot of success with is doing custom incentive programs for all of our top affiliates that will get them looped into, doing cash prizes. We've even flown out some of our top creators to the HQ of one of our top brands before. And it's something we'd love to continue doing. I also think getting back to paid influencer promotions, even if that is for your top affiliates, like we'd all love to keep them just an affiliate game, but actually putting money up front can really change that relationship dynamic in a unique way. And then I think the final component that we've really pushed for is getting to exclusive affiliate partnerships. If you have a creator earning more than $10,000 a month through commissions for you, like you probably have employees not getting paid that much. And so in all likelihood, like let's put them on payroll indirectly. Let's get them exclusive to our brand. Let's really bring them into the fold. Let's get them producing content that we can use organically. Let's really tighten that relationship. Because I think once you have your base of affiliate, really running and driving sales, you don't even necessarily need to add more affiliates. You can just continue to grow that nest egg you have and improve it month over month. And before you know it, you'll be able to do some amazing things.
Yeah, I think having a clear funnel to move affiliates through is also an interesting approach. You can be really broad and go micro, work with larger creators, but volume is clearly key to getting these like affiliate programs off the ground. But that doesn't mean that you need to stay broad and wide with your outreach. When you recognize partners that are doing well, it usually qualifies for, let's get some smart codes going. Let's test out your content. That takes you to that second stage of the relationship. If that consistently performs well, if they're creating multiple videos, if their live streams are effective, then you can kind of move them into these different tiers of partners that you can reactivate for different moments for your brand. So kind of jumps onto Jake's point there about making sure that you're developing those relationships and having those close connections versus just being the brand with the logo that's messaging anyone over a certain amount of followers. There has to be that content fit, and there has to be that one-to-one connection if you're going to take a relationship to the next level.
Follow-up question on that, and this is for everyone. How do you find that strategy scales? So obviously, being a logo that's messaging a ton of affiliates is a way to kind of get volume through the door. How do you kind of marry the, like having the interaction be very tailored to the influencer, to the creator, versus making sure that you're getting your brand out there to as many influencers and creators as you can? Just curious to hear your strategies behind that.
Yeah, we use like a combination. So we have always on recruitment. So we're constantly recruiting new affiliates, and some of them work, some of them don't. Then we have like one-to-one relationships with some. Then we have pockets of affiliate group chats where we might run a competition on this chat, might run a competition on this chat. We also might like launch a new product with this pocket of affiliates because we think it will work well. And then we have, I think Jake made a great point about you've kind of got like this nest egg. I love that analogy. You do, like, once you've built up a really robust affiliate network, then it's really easy to create narratives on TikTok. You almost can start to control the trends if you want to say to, like, if you have 200 really committed, devoted affiliates that make really good content for you and have generated money from you in the past, and you offer them an exclusive product or a new product launch, you send it out to them, you give them a really compelling commission offer and some ad spend behind the videos. They love that because they know, they've learned, like, if they work with you, they get these things. They tend to love the brand, so they like the idea of promoting like a new product or a special offer. And then it's easy to just activate that and send things nuclear.
Cool. That's awesome. Great example.
Yeah, I think from a scale perspective, there are efficiencies to be had, but the real way you scale it is caffeine. Maybe a stronger drink at night. There's things when it comes to building relationships with influencers that I don't think like are incredibly scalable if you want to do it right. Like we've given access to affiliates to book calls with our influencer team to talk about the strategies of not just them as an affiliate, but like what they should do for that brand. And we'll take time to send selfie videos for anyone that sells over $1,000 worth of product and thank them for their hard work and try to get them recommitted to the brand for the next month. Like, those are just unscalable 15, 30-minute, 30-second little selfie video things that they don't necessarily go away. So you can build efficiency, but I think at the end of the day, if you have any amount of people that are advocating for your brand that aren't getting paid up front to do so, you should be willing to jump into the fire for them and do anything and everything to make sure that they're set up to succeed.
I'll jump in there as well. So one of the things that we've been successful with is we've established a creator network where we've been curating a community, and so we tend to have really deep relationships with some affiliates, especially the ones that we do a lot of fashion and luxury, we do a lot of cosmetics. So we spend a lot of time with people who've been successful for us in those channels, and having Discord channels, making sure that we're engaging with them, making sure they kind of always remember who we are, so they can prioritize relationships with us. Um, that's been a really great model for us. Also, we use a product that helps our clients probably more than the affiliate, but we use a product called Refunnel, and that allows us to sort of manage all that UGC and get all that intellectual property rights, so that we can package it up and we can start using it in other places. So I think it's just a matter of being proactive, building relationships, and having the right productivity tools to sort of lower the friction between the relationships between the affiliates and influencers and the agencies.
Yeah, I love the call out of productivity and modularity, the idea that you can recombinate something for TikTok, put it elsewhere, working efficiently for the brand and kind of standardizing the brand voice across channels.
And that's critical. That's one of the best things about UGC, right? Is that you can use it in other places. If you're not, you really are coming up short.
Yeah. Okay. And then how can brands balance holiday promotions with their overall TikTok content strategy to avoid coming off as too obviously sales focused? So obviously, we're going into the holiday season. TikTok's going to be running specific promotions for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for Christmas, for the holidays. How does a brand how do we see that continuity of brand content and brand development, product development? How do we marry that with just it obviously being the holidays and it being all about sales and volume?
Yeah, I think you can be really strategic and selective about the products that you choose to push. We do one of the largest consumer appliance brands in the world on the platform, and most of the range won't be going on any significant offer. We'll be trying different tactics with that, and it might require like more paid media behind it. But if you're retaining the brand image, then sometimes that's just necessary. And then there are other areas where you might look at your range and you might go, okay, like this stuff is still popular, but it isn't like our hero products. So this is something that we can do a deeper discount on. It's still like a very giftable item. And then something that's probably come up a lot as a theme today, but I think is super useful in this area, is exclusivity to the platform. So if you can create exclusivity on a product that doesn't necessarily need to be priced, then you can drive virality. So there's a few tactics you can think of. There's probably plenty of other stuff that the guys can cover as well.
And quick question on that. Do you know, insider baseball, do you know if TikTok's doing anything to influence or sort of incentivize brands to have TikTok exclusivity on TikTok Shop?
I think it depends on the brand. There's nothing I know of that's like a set campaign for this, but yeah, we've had like a key account manager give us incentives for brands to do certain things in the past. So like if you've got a big name, then you can pretty much go and ask for whatever you want. If you've got a big enough name, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and that's true for not just TikTok, right?
Yeah, definitely. There might genuinely be a campaign that I don't know of as well. Maybe the guys have heard something that I haven't.
So I think for us, you got to remember why TikTok started in the first place, right? It was always about commerce and entertainment, and they were the first to do that really successfully, I think better than anyone else. And so it's important to remember about that entertainment aspect. I love the salesy question, quite frankly, because at the end of the day, we're there to sell, and also many people are there to buy. We did an analysis last year of like the two greatest audience pools, and one of them was people who saw things over 12 months ago, about 12 months ago, so a year ago, within a rolling calendar year, and then people who saw things within the last 30 days. And so what does that mean? That means those people that saw things a year ago became familiar with the brand, and ultimately they waited till the price was right to actually strike and buy. So people are there to buy. And then the last group was people that again saw something, impulse buy, they moved, they capitalized. And so people are there to buy things, but you have to remember that there's an entertainment aspect to it. You should be generally plugged into your community. You should be hosting challenges. You should be doing live stuff. You should be responding to comments, just about the organic stuff earlier, right? There's a lot of work that should go in And you shouldn't just show up on Black Friday and expect that you're going to sell a lot of products. You have to curate, you have to weave your product into interaction subtly. You have to think about, value-based holiday related tips, do-it-yourself projects. There's a lot of ways you can talk to people and drum up that sort of engagement so that when that ad's in there, it doesn't come across as too salesy, and ultimately it's highly relevant.
Yeah, and to David's point there, so much of it comes back to community development. What do the followers look like? What are the people actually seeing that content that they're viewing? What is the relationship between them and the brand? And we've always seen tremendous success on the platform with brands that have established communities. And it's not just like you have to have 1 or 2 million followers. Like you could have just 15,000 followers that are really active and loyal to the brands. In which case they'll be your biggest advocates for any sales and promotion. And I think, like TikTok uses the phrase for their advertising pitch, don't make ads, make TikToks. And it's totally true. And what we see happening way too much is people are taking their marketing from other social platforms and applying those historical insights and even content creation to this platform. And if you're not creating natively to the platform, it doesn't matter what you're going to do. It's going to come across salesy and it's not going to work well. And it's certainly not going to live up to the potential that it could. So I think it comes back to TikTok's go-to saying, which is don't make ads, make TikToks. And if you stick in that line of insights, being that it's a consumer-driven platform first, you're going to avoid any issues that come across as you potentially being salesy.
Yeah, to that point, I think the affiliate relationships are going to be key because of their inclination towards authenticity. Helps you, support the content farm for the paid media, but also you can kind of segment your strategy here. And even if you are running sales, you don't need to have every creator talking about a specific sale. You can have people that are talking about the value props of your brand, that are covering product talking points, that are just generally having fun with the brand, and not have every piece of content related to your brand focused on it's on sale right now. I mean, that requires you to have a decent enough network of creators that you can activate here, because if you only have 20 people that are talking about it, then you might want to make the most of those. But if you have a developed community where you can activate segments of it to cover different talking points, helps diversify the content that your customers are seeing.
Great. Yeah, diversity of content is really important, right? There's a continuity of content and brand voice, but if there's diversity too, then you can it's kind of hard to place you as a brand. So a lot of that variety can help. And I'd love to hear, and I'm sure everyone in the audience would love to hear about any exciting campaigns you have coming up for the holidays and some of the strategies. I know, obviously, that would be a sneak peek. We're very much in Q4 planning mode, but I'm sure you've got some exciting things on your docket. So we'd love to know kind of any insight you can give us.
We just won the, I genuinely don't mean this as a brag, I'm just giving some context. We just won the live streaming partner award in the UK. So the reason that we did that is we've been trying some crazy stuff with lives of late. And I think that live shopping is going to be huge in the UK and the US, particularly in November. And particularly on that weekend that we're all really excited for. So what we're doing is building up longer lives to get audiences to adjust to them, and also running, we're kind of calling them mini showcase lives. It's like our own little thing, where the lives are a lot more in depth, and we're trying some different tactics on the lives to basically build up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, where we run these huge weekend long lives for brands. We recently did a 24-hour live where we gave away Taylor Swift tickets at the end of it. So that one was pretty crazy. It was up for 23 hours of it. So I don't think we'll be doing that again, but we're definitely trying some crazy longer live type stuff. That should be pretty exciting for the brands that we're working with.
That was going to be my follow-up question, was what the record for your longest live? 24 hours is crazy. So you were up for 23 of the 24?
Yeah,
wow.
I went for a nap on the Saturday afternoon. But it was a lot of fun. So it's one of the biggest cosmetics brands in the UK. Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing 24 hours again, but maybe like sneaky 14 hours or something.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on that live theme because I think it is absolutely the most exciting. Also, what we're doing is we're really doubling down on working with doing campaigns that encourage users to share their holiday experiences with the product. So we're again sort of trying to mobilize and activate and build a fan base and build a following. And so that whole collaborative approach, it sort of moves us beyond the just, well, this is organic and this is affiliate and this is paid. And so we're really thinking about it as an integrated offering and sort of mobilizing those affiliates, the buyers as affiliates. We do a lot of stuff now we're planning for, we did last year and this year we're looking for like TikTok themed challenges, holiday themes and invite participation, things like that. Interactive content like polls, QA. So anytime we can really get in there and just move it beyond, it's going to just be this, or it's just going to just be this, and then make it a holistic campaign, that's quite exciting. Obviously, live is probably the biggest thing that's coming around right now. Ultimately, TikTok does want to grow live, but they don't want live shopping to be all of live. They want live TV to be there. They want it to be live entertainment. They want to grow live shopping. They don't want live shopping to be sort of everything that is live. And so I think that there's good opportunities for even awareness with live, and we're exploring those opportunities with some of our clients.
So it's August 21st right now. Yesterday, we wheeled in to our content house, which is one of our studios. It's a house staged for filming content. We wheeled in all of our Thanksgiving fall aesthetic decorations for the house. So it currently looks like, grandma's Thanksgiving in there at the moment. And so as we get ahead on all the content, the live things of this nature, live streams are going to be a little bit tricky because we're going to wait for those windows to do it. But things we're building in advance, we're all set up for, that window. And then I think by about mid-September, it'll look like Santa's workshop in there. In terms of all the things. And one of the things we're trying to do is reverse engineer the why of purchases in the content. It's one thing to talk about a holiday sale and promotion or Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale and promotion. It's another thing to show it, to show a little kid opening up a holiday gift. These are the things that you can get ahead of and actually build. Maybe you have it from years previous, but if you could create uniquely for this year, that's the time to do it. So that's certainly one of the things I think myself, and I'm sure my neighbors are very excited for me to have my holiday lights up here in mid-September.
Are you dressing up as Santa Claus in a live, Jake?
Oh, I'll do whatever it takes. If it's Santa, I got a Norwegian last name. And so one of the things I always had in my house growing up was these really weird Christmas decorations that are like from Norse culture, and it looks like a 250-year-old man. So we got a bunch of those weird ones too. So we're ready to get all sorts of niche up in here.
Well, I've still got my Santa suit from last year because I went on a couple live dressed as Santa, so I can loan you it.
Oh yeah, we got just the top floor of the content house. There's like an attic kind of that's been, but it's furnished, and there's just nothing but costumes up there. So we love, that's probably another thing, integrating brand logo, mascots, I should say, into content. Like the Duolingo owl, who we praise as like the most genius social media strategy in the world. If you really boil it down, like that strategy was invented in like the 30s probably, with the Jolly Green Giants, I think was one of the first ones. It's a layup, and it makes things so much more interesting. Like, we're going to do street team content, but instead of just giving away the product, we're going to have someone dressed as a bumblebee because it's with a honey beverage. Those are the easy, simple, fun things you can do. And I think your creative team will be stoked about all that.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback off of David's point earlier, just about the importance of not only lives, but not viewing all lives as a means for sales, but as an entertainment medium. I'm going to use maybe a semi-specific example here just from how I spend my time, but I spent a lot of time playing like Ultimate Team on FIFA, and around the holidays, they basically for 2 weeks will as people are on the platform, they are giving away free, free packs. There's a lot of like flash deals. There's all this urgency that, is happening, and the promotion of that period, leading up to it is pretty significant, but it encourages people to like spend their time in that environment. And then while they're there, when they are primed to purchase and they're aware that things are going to be, in a good position either for gifting or for purchasing for themselves, you're putting the information in front of them. So like, I think live flash sales, giveaways, little things like that, but also, kind of snuck into generally more entertaining content versus, can I go live for an hour and just talk about the benefits of my product and try to drive sales? So I think that, leaning more into the entertainment nature of things and being a little more creative about how we're talking about, moving product is going to be key.
Yeah, TikTok
So it
Live
makes sense.
should definitely not turn into QVC.
100%.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. I think just kind of maybe final thoughts, anything that we didn't cover, any ideas, things you're excited about getting into the holidays. Everyone in the chat, link out how excited you are to see Jake in his Santa suit. Otherwise, yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I think if you're out there and you're deliberating whether to take on TikTok Shop ahead of this holiday season, I think that this is the last year that you'll have as big an opportunity where the field is very open. And I think that next year it'll be way more competitive than it is now. So if you're kind of sitting on the fence, by the way, not every brand works on the platform as well. So there's other things to consider. But if you're sitting on the fence and you do have a good brand and you do have diversity of products, you do have good visuals or good price point or whatever it is that makes your brand unique, then give it a go. There's means to test this platform that are very light touch, that don't cost you a lot of money. And I think that if there are brands out there who aren't going to take the opportunity this year and they're going to really regret it. So look into things more after you've heard us talk. Obviously, we're all very, very biased. So take what we say with a pinch of salt and do your own digging. But you'll see the success of so many brands. And it's not just like budget brands. There's diversity of product on the platform now that is performing well. I actually nearly got in a LinkedIn feed about this yesterday, so you can check that out as well if you want. But yeah, I think just keep an open mind and be willing to give it a go because you've seen the success and we've talked about some of the tactics you can employ. And good luck if you do give it a go.
I want to add to that really quickly because I think you hit on a really important point about timeliness. This is a really unique time. This is kind of on TikTok. It's kind of like Meta was 5 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago. And so the algorithm is really prioritizing this type of activity. And so it will not exist, probably not as abundantly next year. And so you should seize the moment. You should have a store, even if you're looking to drive purchases elsewhere, because it does influence buying decisions. So I definitely would urge people to sort of get in the game.
Yeah, I think on my end to close out, I would say definitely don't join TikTok Shop. It's a horrible platform. You're going to see horrible ROAS. It's not the best opportunity we've ever seen. I prefer everyone to stay the hell out. So for the brands we're working with in there, our competition stays at next to zero, which is how it is right now. Yeah, just Instagram shop, right? Just do that,
Reverse psychology. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to close out on my side, I agree. It's a unique opportunity, and it's a great time to be getting into it because TikTok has so many incentives for brands that are really leaning in. So taking the leap of faith and kind of fully getting involved there is going to reap rewards for you, assuming you have an agency that is honest and will tell you whether or not your brand's going to work. There's not like a one size fit, but you have to have the stomach for it, and make sure you're working with the right partner. But there is a lot of opportunity, and it's an exciting time.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It looks like we don't have any questions in the chat. And please reach out if you have any questions. Just want to reiterate that ShipBob is your fulfillment partner for all things, not only TikTok, but holiday Q4 fulfillment, both online and retail. Please get in touch if you have any questions. My email is linked in the chat. And then I want to thank everyone on our panel for joining today. This is super helpful. It is only August 21st, but in KCUMO, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas because we are all fully prepped for the holiday season. Yeah, e-commerce, it's the slow season because everyone's planning and everyone's getting everything together before the big holiday season. So thank you everyone for taking the time. Hopefully this was really helpful and informative. Reach out if you have any questions. Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.